So in these 10 sessions, I'll try to cover all the topics which are basically asked in CMAT exam. So I've taken questions from those itself. Okay. So would it be beneficial for CAT 2021 aspirant, says Simi? Yes, Simi, it would be, because obviously the only difference between CMAT and CAT is that in CMAT you have questions at a very basic level, whereas CAT is slightly more difficult. So for a person who is starting from the beginning, I think CMAT would be a good way to start for CAT preparation, right? Because whatever they ask you in CMAT, actually those questions are on the basic level, or you can say level 1, whereas CAT would be asking you questions on level 2 and level 3. So once we start from level 1 or foundation, the basic level, so obviously the things become easy for you to go ahead. So in these 10 sessions of around 40-45 minutes each, I am going to trying to cover that all the topics that are going to be there in the exam one by one. Okay, so today what I have taken the first part of it, which is arithmetic. So before starting, so let me just request you guys that if you enjoy these sessions, please do not forget to like, comment and share and subscribe. Please share it with the people, whoever is appearing for CMAT. Obviously these are free sessions, would be beneficial for all of them. Anyone who can join will be better. So please share it with your friends and please like it. It is important for our motivation as well, whether you like our sessions or not. And whatever doubts are there, please keep commenting on these, right? And subscribe to the channel for all the upcoming things. So let's start, guys. शुरू कर दे रहा हूं मैं यहाँ से. So what am I going to do today? I'm trying to cover percentages, simple interest, compound interest, and profit, loss, and discount. So not that I'm teaching you these concepts. I'll be just telling you the final formula kind of thing. Though if you have a doubt, you may always ask कि अच्छा ये कहाँ से आया, ये कैसे बना है, कहाँ use हो सकता है. So that's completely up to you if you want to ask that. वो आप जब पूछेंगे, after that we'll do that. Okay, so currently I'm just talking about the concepts that can be used in the exam, though will not be teaching them in depth, just the final formula, how are they used. Okay, the common mistakes basically that should not be made, उन सब के बारे में हम लोग बात करेंगे. Apurva Gupta says it is done. Okay, Apurva, thank you. तो चलिए शुरू करते हैं. सो एज आई से कि सबसे पहली चीज हमारे लिए है परसेंटेजेस. सो व्हाट ऑल थिंग्स कैन बी यूज्ड इन परसेंटेज. आई विल स्टार्ट विद दैट. सो फर्स्ट थिंग इज द मल्टीप्लाइंग फैक्टर फॉर अस. This multiplying factor is extremely important. I mean, from any perspective of the any exam, this will be important for you. What is multiplying factor? So let us say if I talk about x is increased by 20%, x is increased to, इसको 120 कर देता हूँ, 120%, 120% of x, right? And that's it. So when I say x is increased by 120%, how much x would become? So how much x would become? To calculate this value, we use a factor called multiplying factor, that by what number x should be multiplied such that if it increases by 120%, it becomes this much, right? So percent basically means percent, that is per 100. So in case of percentages, everything add or subtract from 100 only. So when you increase 120%, 100 will increase by 120, it will become 220% of x. Though this is not the multiplying factor, this is just to explain you. So Meghna, what you are saying 6 by 5, probably that is for 120%, that 120% is 6 by 5. Here we are talking about x is increased by 120% or increased by 6 by 5. That's what we are talking about. Okay, hello Sony and Shruti, good evening. X is increased to 120%. So you'll have to pay attention to these two words. Here I have by and here I have to. X is increased by 120 or x is increased to 120. To 120 का मतलब ये है x has become 120%. By 120 का मतलब है x has been increased by 120%. So that became 220% and this became 120% of x. And when I say 120% of x, that actually means x is increased to 120. So basically these two things are similar, but this would be different because in this case you have to add 100 to this. उस केस में we are adding 100 to this. This is the difference between the two. Okay. Now when I say 220% of x, 220% of x can also be written as 2.2 times of x, whereas 120% of x is 1.2 times of x. This 2.2 or 1.2 is called the multiplying factor. इसको हम लोग बोलते हैं multiplying factor. That if something has been increased or decreased, how much has it become? That is called multiplying factor. So basically I have removed the symbol of percentages. Okay, and I repeat for all the people that I am not teaching you the concept, otherwise we'll go slow, we'll spend half an hour on this. I'll teach you each and everything. I'm just trying to brush up the final outcome because obviously in these many days we cannot do everything in detail. So you might feel कि हम लोग थोड़ा सा तेज चल रहे हैं, but that is deliberate, right? So 2.2x or 1.2x, this 2.2 and 1.2 are called the multiplying factors, and this exactly tells us whether the number has increased or decreased or what. Suppose I say x has become 0.75x. X has become 0.75x. This 0.75 is the multiplying factor. X has become 1.3x. This 1.3 is the multiplying factor. X has become 2.9x. This 2.9 is the multiplying factor. Or x has become 3.005x. This 3.005 is the multiplying factor. What does it tell us? It is actually telling us that when I talk about 0.75x, let me just put it there. I think I am still audible easily to all of you. So when I say 0.75x, in terms of percentages, you can also say it is 75% of x. How do you reach this? Just by multiplying with 100. The moment you multiply it by 100, you reach there. 1.3x multiplied by 100. This means 130% of x. 2.9x. This means 290% of x. 3.005x. This means 300.5% of x. Right? In terms of percentages, you can straight away multiply them. So multiplying factor multiplied by 100 gives you percentage. Every number is 100% of itself. Number khud ka is always 100%. So if something has become 75%, that means 100 has become 75. So you can say there is a decrease of 25%. 100 has become 130, that means you can say there is an increase of 30%. 100 has become 290, that means there is an increase of 190%. And similarly in the last case, there is an increase of 200.5%. This is how multiplying factor works for us. It tells us whether the number has been increased or decreased, right? And many a times he will be giving you x, he will be asking you to increase or decrease, and then he'll be talking about the number that okay, finally this much has become or how much it has become. Sometimes he will give you that number and he'll ask you to go back. This is where the common mistake by the students is done. So always keep that in mind, that in that case you have to divide. अगर यहाँ से यहाँ जाने के लिए I have to multiply, वहां से वापस आने के लिए I have to divide. X is increased by 120%. I know it is 220% of x. But what if the question is asking you something like this? That something is increased by 120% and this has become x. So what was the number? Something has been increased by 120% and then it has become x. So forget about x. I know if something increased by 120%. Percent means 100. 100 में 120 increase 220%. So it must be 220%. 220% का मतलब है it must be 2.2 times. If this is 2.2 times of something, to come back I'll have to divide it by 2.2. If this has become 2.2 times of something, so for coming back you have to divide it by 2.2. This is the most common area of mistake where people make mistakes in this case. So please keep this multiplying factor in your mind. Whether the increased value is there and you have to go back, or decreased value is there, you have to go back, then you divide. Or when you increase or decrease something, then straight away you multiply, then you don't divide. This is what you have to keep in mind. This is the first concept that I wanted to discuss, that multiplying factor should be used very judiciously, and this thing will always help you to figure out what is the multiplying factor. Every number is 100% of itself. तो 100 से वो कितना बन गया है, how much has it become? Just by subtracting 100 you will get to know. Subtract 100, 30, subtract 100, 190, subtract 100, 200.5. But if you cannot subtract 100, it is so low, that means it is already less, right? So subtract this from 100 and this will tell you that how much it has decreased. This is about the multiplying factor. I hope you would have understood this. Hi Gaurang, hello, good evening. This is the first thing. But yes, as Meghna said, the moment I wrote 120%, she said 6 by 5. I honestly feel that these things are extremely important. That the moment you look at 120%, the moment you look at 25%, the moment you look at 30%, these things should be absolutely clear to you. They actually save a lot of time for you. एकदम से टाइम बचता है that okay, I have increased the number, I have decreased the number, so in fractional terms how much it has become, this will save your job. Okay, this was the first thing. Next, next what I am going to talk about is, next I am talking about if I talk about say percentages में successive percentage change, एक तो ये है successive percentage that you must have heard of, that what exactly is successive percentage. But yes, before that there was another thing that I was missing, वो मेरे दिमाग में आगे चली जा रही थी, that what do I have to talk about. The point is that there is one thing that I have seen that many people are, I am talking about common mistakes people make, तो उसी के बारे में हम लोग आराम से we will talk about that. Hi Rahul, hi, good evening Rahul. So let us say if I have scored 60% in 12th exams, my friend scored 75% in the same 12th exams, the common talk is, he would say I have scored 15% more than you. I would say I have scored 15% less than you. Keep this in mind. Here comes the important part, that this is A, this is B. So B has scored 15 percentage points more than A. B has scored 15 percentage points more than A, right? How much in terms of percentages B has scored more than A? The answer is 25% more than A. B has scored, sorry, A, वहाँ भी A था. B has scored 25% more than A, or you can say 15 percentage points. So this becomes an important point, that ये percentage point और ये percentage, what is the difference between the two? The percentage point is the absolute difference between the two numbers. So when I talk about 60 and 75, 60 से 15 ज़्यादा है, this 15 is the percentage points, right? But 75% is what percentage more than 60? I would say 75 minus 60 upon 60 into 100. This will give me the answer as 25%. This again is one common mistake that many students make. You have to keep this in mind, right? So people would be having this, that okay, the moment question says that a person has scored 60%, and now he figures out, had he scored 25% more, right? A person has scored 60% and had he scored 25% more, अगर उसने 25% और score किया होता, right? Then how much he would have scored? So we immediately feel that okay, 60 is there. Had he scored 25% more, he would have scored 85%, but that is wrong. He would have scored 25 percentage points more, then it would have been 85. Otherwise, if he says 25% more, calculate 25% of this. इसका 25% is इसका 1/4. That is 15. And 60 plus 15 is going to be 75%. Right? That's a common mistake, and normally they would be asking you questions based upon those common mistakes only. Students are making mistakes on this part, so let's keep asking questions such that they make these common mistakes. These you have to take care of. It's a very, very common thing. Okay? I hope you have understood this. Please, whenever you have a doubt, you can just speak up. Wherever you have a problem in this case, I am again telling you, for all the people, I am deliberately going a bit fast. We are just discussing the basic concept. जो भी final उसका बनता है, not the in-depth thing. ठीक है? Okay, so now I was going to talk about successive percentage change. Now this is something that have been talked about almost in all the exams, that what exactly is successive percentage. Okay, so successive percentage के केस में, if a number is changed by A% and B% successively, in that case, the net change is given by A plus B plus AB by 100. If changed by A% and B% successively, the net change is given by A plus B plus AB by 100%. Yes, Rahul, I will come to that as well. Okay, question कैसे आएंगे? I have taken up some questions, so we will be talking about them as well. So why did I rate change? So whether it is increase or decrease, so basically you just have to do one thing. If it is a decrease, you put it with a negative sign. If it is an increase, you put it with a positive sign. That's the only change that is there, which you have to keep in mind. Decrease means with a negative sign, increase means with a positive sign. So I am telling you alongside with this about the successive discount as well. Because successive discount is like both decreases are there. For example, a shop is giving you 20% plus 50% off. 20% plus 50% off. So 20% plus 50% off means that there is a net discount which is not 70. Okay? This discount is not 70, that is for sure. Please try to understand that. कि वो 70 तो पक्का ही नहीं है. Satyam sir, please suggest book for GK. Probably not the right time, Satyam here. Sir, topic wise revision होगा. Yes, that's what we are trying to do. 20 plus 50% off. तो इस formula पे अगर मैं put करूँगा, I would put A as minus 20, B as minus 50. A into B is minus 20 into minus 50 divided by 100, and this will finally give me minus 60% off. This is what successive discount is, right? Though it's a portion of profit, loss and discount, but still it's a portion of successive change. So whether you read it in successive percentages or you want to read it in profit, loss and discount, that is completely up to you. The point is, this is the basic formula which can be used with negative sign as well as positive sign. That is completely up to you which one you want to use. That's your choice. Okay. I'm not securing good score in mocks in QA section. I am targeting KJ Somaya. So what should be the ideal percentage for the same? Oh, I'm sorry, Kadar. Currently, I won't be able to take some generic questions. I mean, we'll digress from the topic then. So let's first, once complete it. If we have time, we'll take up those questions as well. Okay. This is one thing. There is another thing on which the exams keep asking questions, and I've seen many a times they are doing this. That if A plus B is constant, if A plus B is constant, the maximum change will be there. Maximum change will be there if A and B are closest. Okay? What exactly I am talking about, I'll write that as well. So please read it once. Take whatever I have written over here. That if A plus B is a constant, maximum change is there if A plus B is a constant. A plus B are closest. What does this mean? If you have 30% plus 40% increase, or 20 plus 50% increase, or 10 plus 60% increase, these are three successive percentage changes. 30 and 40 के two successive percentage changes, 20 and 50, 10 and 60. In which case you have the maximum increase here when they are closest. In which case you have the minimum increase here when they are farthest. So closer they are, bigger would be the net change. Farther they are, lesser would be the net change. This is something that has been used quite a lot in all these exams, right? I repeat, if A% and B% के दो successive changes होते हैं and A plus B is constant, in all those cases, closer A and B are, larger would be the change. Farther they are, smaller would be the change. This is how it is going to work. Okay. This is about percentages. These are some of the things that can be used in percentages. I hope this all is clear. Any question to anyone, please tell me. Otherwise, I'll move on to simple interest and compound interest. Maximum value of A and B. So they would be given to you. Whether A and B can be anything. The point is if A plus B is constant. Right? If A plus B is constant, 30 plus 40 ki bajay, let us say he start giving you 50 plus 60% off, or 40 plus 70%, 30 plus 80. You just see that in all the cases the sum is 110. If the sum is constant in all the cases, the largest net change would be when they are closest, the smallest net changes when they are farthest. This is what we are talking about here. So I hope this is clear. So I'll move forward from here now. So next I'm going to talk about simple interest and compound interest. Sorry. Simple interest and compound interest. So I've seen that in CMAT, out of 25 questions, generally they ask you sometimes 1 or 2 questions even from simple interest, compound interest in the same paper. That makes it slightly important. We all know the formula that in case of simple interest, the formula is P into R into T divided by 100. For compound interest, the formula is P into 1 plus R by 100 raised to the power N minus P. So this minus P we normally forget because we have studied this formula all our life. P into 1 plus R by 100 raised to the power N. But that gives us the formula for amount. Honestly speaking, I always discourage people from doing this formula because it becomes difficult. Compound interest is more or less like successive percentage. So if you want to do it, use successive percentage, one thing that can be done. I think that becomes an easier part. The other thing that is important is, I'm giving you a formula. First of all, for 1 year, simple interest and compound interest are equal. You have to keep this figure in mind. Second, if I talk about 2 years, the difference between CI and SI is PR square divided by 100 square. If I talk about 2 years, the difference between CI and SI is PR square divided by 100 square. And if I talk about 3 years, CI and SI, this is equal to PR square divided by 100 square thrice plus PR cube divided by 100 cube. And mind you, this is 3 years. It is not third year. If you want the difference of third year, subtract this figure from this figure. Right? This is for 2 years. This is for 3 years. Subtract 2 years ka 3 years means you will get for third year. This is currently for 3 years. 3 PR square by 100 square plus PR cube divided by 100 cube. Also, the table that I want you to learn, so keep that table in your mind, that in case of simple interest and compound interest, how does that table work? Here the interest is P into R divided by 100. Here the interest is P into R divided by 100. In the first year, they both have the same interest. Okay? Second year, this is again P into R divided by 100. Second year, this is P into R divided by 100 plus PR square divided by 100 square. This is exactly when we talk about the difference of SI and CI of 2 years. That is this amount. You can see this. First year they are same. Second year these two are same. So what is left is that amount which is I have written over here. Third year, it is again P into R divided by 100. But in the third year, this is P into R divided by 100 plus 2 into P into R square divided by 100 square plus P into R cube divided by 100 cube. Basically what happens in case of compound interest, you get interest or previous year's interest. This is an interest on this. Third year mein you get iska R% plus iska R%, that makes it twice of PR square by 100 square, and iska R% which is equal to this figure. Mostly I have seen this formula, this table is more important. So I have seen this कि इससे ज़्यादा important ये table होती है, otherwise using this formula becomes a cumbersome process for most of us. So please keep these figures in your mind, that how you are getting interest on interest every year. That will be more, that will be better, I suppose. Soumya says PR square into 300 plus R upon 100 cube. Is it correct for 3 years difference? You can take common, you will get it by yourself, Soumya. And that's right. ठीक है, वो वही आ जाता है. वो इसको बस आपने ये है कि common लेके you have just multiplied them, nothing else is there. Okay. Another type of question that they generally ask in these exams is, first, let's talk about simple interest. Let's talk about simple interest. A principal has become 5 times in 7 years. Okay? In how many years the principal will become 25 times? A principal has become 5 times in 7 years. So in how many years it will become 25 times? It's a common type of question. In case of simple interest, how do we approach? I'll tell you that. In case of compound interest, how do you approach? I'll tell you that. Please keep that in mind. In case of simple interest, you will see the difference of the two. And the difference of the two. So what is the difference of the two? 4p. So you get 4p in 7 years. What is the difference of the two? 24p. So if you get 4p in 7 years, you will get 24p in how many years? It is 4p ka 6 times. It will be 7 years ka 6 times. So the answer would be 42 years. The answer would be 42 years. So you get an interest of 4p in 7 years. So you get an interest of 24p in how many years? That becomes 42 according to simple interest. Hi Darshak, hello. Hi Vikas. Okay, you have a question. Asja, the sum of money is 6,200 after 3 years, 7,000 after 5 years at some rate of interest. What is the rate percentage per annum? Asja, us case mein we need to know whether it is simple or compound interest. Though it looks like a question of simple interest to me. Vikas Patidar, again, okay. I am saying if P has become 5p and question is P should become 25p. So in how many years it would happen? I am saying in case of simple interest, look at their difference. The difference of P and 5p is 4p. So you get 4p in 7 years. Their difference 24p. 24p how many years? 4p ka 6 times 24. So 7 ka 6 times 42. This is how we get the answer. But same question with compound interest. In case of compound interest, if P has become 5p, you will not look at the difference. You will see how many times it has become. So how many times it has become? 5 times. It has become 5 times in 7 years. Question says P से 25p बनना है. How many times you want to make it? 25 times. So it becomes 5 times in 7 years. It will again become 5 times, right? P has become 5p in 7 years. So if it has become 5 times, it will again become 5 times, that is 35, 25p. 25p in how many years? In another 7 years. So 7 years here, 7 years here, the answer would be 14 years. So in case of compound interest, you will see how many times it has become. In case of simple interest, you will see what is the difference between them. Okay? This moves in multiples. That moves in differences. That's like an AP series. This is like a GP series. In GP series, you see how much has been multiplied. So every time this much would multiply in every 7 years. How much has been added? 4p. So 4p, 4p, 4p will keep on adding after every 7 years. So 25p कितने years में बनेगा और यहाँ से 25p कितने years में बनेगा? You will get an idea about that. So Azhar is asking for a question. So I am just talking about that question now. कि question में क्या है? I am assuming Azhar that question that you have asked is basically based upon simple interest. So he says, a money, let us say P, it has become 6,200. He says in 3 years, and 7,000 after 5 years, and it has become 7,000 in 5 years. So I can find out this difference. I cannot find out this difference. ये तो मिल रहा है. So this difference is 800, right? So in 5 years you are getting 800. So in 1 year you will get how much? 160. So in 3 years you will get how much? 480. इसका मतलब here you got an interest of 480. So what was the principal? 6200 minus 480, that is 5720 rupees. This becomes the principal. So in case of simple interest, this difference works all the time, right? But in case of compound interest, it has to be the multiple. It is not the difference. This is how we do it. Recording will be available in YouTube. So Ashish, though I'm not very sure of this, I think there is some point after which they just delete it. So it will be there for some time, I think so. Azad, Sam, so I think you got it now. This was about simple interest and compound interest. Everything that can be used in your exam, I think this is what can be there, whatever we have discussed here. Okay? Okay guys, so I'll move forward now to the next portion. The next portion is, profit, loss and discount. So let me just talk about profit, loss and discount. I feel that profit, loss and discount is primarily percentages. You are good at percentages, you are good at it. Okay? Reverse is also true. If you are not good at percentages, probably you will have problems here because it is primarily percentages only. So when I talk about profit percentage is SP minus CP divided by CP into 100. Or SP divided by CP minus 1 into 100. This is first thing it is telling us that a ratio of SP and CP is sufficient to calculate that. Oh, I'm sorry, Azad. I thought कि वो principal पूछ रहा था. So now अगर rate पूछ रहा है, so we'll get the answer, Aslam. Because 5720 we got the principal, 180 we got the interest. So just calculate that. है ना? That 180 is what percentage of 5720. So the moment you will do that, I think you will get the answer by that. ये कुछ fractions में आएगा, but you can just calculate that कि कितना आ रहा है वो. Please check it once. So SP by CP, this ratio is sufficient to calculate the profit percentage. That is the important part here. पहली चीज. Second, I want you to look at it this way, that profit percentage is nothing but it is the percentage by which SP is more than CP. The percentage by which SP is more than CP. Profit percentage is the percentage by which SP is more than CP. So keep that in mind. The moment he says the profit percentage is 25%, it should be coming to our mind that CP ko if I increase by 25%, I will get SP. This is how it is used in the questions. That something is increased by 25% will become the selling price. This is how it is used. If the loss percentage is given to you, he says loss percentage is 10%. इसका मतलब CP को decrease by 10%, you will get the SP. This is how you will be using it. So rather than going with the formula, I think we should understand this portion, that this is the percentage by which something is to be increased to become that thing, or something is to be decreased to become that thing. The point is that what is the base, that becomes important for us. कि base कौन सा हम लोग use कर रहे हैं? This is what we have. Okay. Similarly, the next is discount percentage. So when I say discount percentage, keep that in mind. Discount percentage is always given on the marked price, right? On the marked price, and it is nothing but difference of MP and SP as a percentage of MP. This gives you 1 minus SP by MP into 100. And this again, by this again you have to understand that this is ultimately important, that what is the ratio of SP and MP. Selling price or cost price का जो ratio है, that will give us the answer. Okay. And the third term is markup percentage. So generally you will see in the questions of profit, loss and discount, these are the three things which are used, and out of these three, two of them are there for which CP is the base, for profit percentage or loss percentage, as well as for the markup percentage. So what is markup percentage? It is marked price minus cost price upon cost price into 100. That is MP divided by CP minus 1 into 100. Okay. So in my opinion, I would always say never go by what the formula says, always go by the basic understanding of the concept. So when I look at markup percentage, honestly, when I do the question, I look at it this way, markup percentage, mark up. So how much I am marking up. So how much I am increasing the cost price. It immediately gives me an idea that CP is the base which is to be particularly increased by a percentage to make the marked price. What is discount? Discount is given on the marked price, because whenever I go to the shop, on that price which is written on the article, they give discount. So how much is that decreased to become selling price? So that picture is there in our mind, that we have somewhere the MP, somewhere the SP, and somewhere the CP. When you increase this, you get profit percentage. When you increase this, you get markup percentage. And when you decrease this, you get discount percentage. So this makes clear that which are the base that we are using. For markup it is cost, for profit it is cost, but for discount it is the marked price. That is what is there. Okay? I again repeat, I know I am going fast, but that's the need of the hour. We are just brushing up the concepts, we are not learning them. Right? I am just trying to brush up all the things for you very fast. Okay, one last thing now that I am going to discuss, that is, in case of those faulty balances, okay? There might be questions. So I am giving you one simple rule for faulty balances by a question. Let me take a question. So a shopkeeper while purchasing use 800 grams in place of 1000 gram, purchases at 20% discount, and while selling use a weight of 800 gram in place of 1100 gram and gives at 5% discount and at 25% markup. I am trying to put everything into it, है ना? जितने भी गंदगी हो सकती है सब डाल देते हैं, क्या क्या हो सकता है. Let's see how to deal with this, right? This is the last thing that I am discussing with you. I have this simple rule for any question which is based upon these faulty balances type of questions. How do I do that? I'll just tell you. While purchasing uses 800 grams in place of 1000 grams. So if you are purchasing something and rather than 1000 you use a weight of 800, you will be getting less, but you will be paying more, right? I just have to figure out whether it is profit or loss. So I am using a weight of 800 in place of 1000. That means I will have to pay for 1000, but I am getting 800. Loss हो रहा है मेरा? Loss means write out of those two values, write this smaller one in the numerator, larger in the denominator. Because loss means SP is smaller, CP is larger. So smaller value in numerator, larger in denominator. Okay? This is done. इसको देखते हैं. He purchases at 20% discount. What does that mean? He purchases an item of 10 rupees in 8, or 100 rupees item in 80, or 1000 rupees item in 800. I will take any two numbers in which one is 20% less than another. So let's say he purchases an item of 100 rupees in 80. When you purchase a 100 rupees item in 80 rupees, you get a profit, right? It is not a loss, it's a profit. Profit means larger value in numerator, smaller in denominator. Because it's a profit, larger in numerator, smaller in denominator. This is done. Third, while selling he used 800 gram in place of 1100. You use 800 gram in place of 1100. So you charge for 1100, you give only 800, you are getting profit. Profit means 1100 in numerator, the bigger value in numerator, smaller in denominator. Right? And last, this one, ye bhi gaya. He is selling at 5% discount. That means he is selling 100 rupees articles in 95. 100 rupees article in 95, that means it's a case of loss. आप 100 चीज 95 में बेच रहे हो. Loss means 95 numerator, 100 denominator. On. At 25% markup. 25% markup means you are selling 100 rupees item in 125. You have marked 125 on it. Profit. Profit means 125 ऊपर 100 नीचे. That's it. Solve it. He's never going to ask you this long a question, but I'm just giving you an idea that whatever the question is, Try to figure out all the situations one by one and see which one gives you profit, which one gives you loss. Profit means larger in numerator, smaller in denominator, and loss means smaller in numerator, larger in denominator. Now you just have to solve them. So you will see that all of them, they cancel out, these two zeros with these two zeros, and 25 5s are, 25 4s are, 5 say 160 pay, 5 say 32 pay, 5 say 19 pay. So ultimately I am getting 19 into 11. 19 into 11 is 209, divided by 32 into 4, 128. That means he is selling the articles of 128 rupees in 209 rupees. 128 की चीज को 209 में बेच रहा है. So what is the profit percentage? On a CP of 128, you have a profit of this minus this. That becomes 81. So 81 by 128 into 100, ये percentage में निकाल लेंगे. This would be the answer for this question. This is how we work out these things. I hope you understood this portion. Okay. So these are the three topics that I wanted to discuss today. In tomorrow's class, I would be doing ratios, I would be doing averages, I will be doing mixtures and alligation. That all would be done in one single class. Okay. Can we please do one more question of this topic? Apurva, I'll explain this again, I think. Otherwise, writing that again will take a lot of time. So I'm saying that we'll do one thing. While purchasing, he uses 800 gram weight in place of 1000. So therefore, I am saying, कि अच्छा ठीक है, you are using 800 gram weight. 1000 की weight की जगह you are paying for 1000, you are getting 800, you are having loss. Loss means smaller there, larger here, right? Similarly, second case, at 20% discount, you are purchasing. So you are purchasing 100 rupee article in 80. 100 rupees article in 80, you are purchasing, you are getting profit. 100 numerator, 80 denominator. So that way, just keep on figuring out whether it's a profit or loss, profit or loss. Profit means larger in the numerator and loss means small in the numerator. Just completely solve it, you will get the answer that what is the particular profit percentage or loss percentage. Okay? If you find any question, Apurva, you can bring in tomorrow's session. I'll be there again tomorrow with you at this time. I mean the same time that we had today at 9 o'clock. Okay? And these were the few questions, so these are taken from CMAT only, but let's see, we can discuss them. I mean, I'm just moving fast because you can always take the screenshot from that later, the video. Okay? And yes, now something from our Grade Up Super subscription. I hope you know about this. The Grade Up Super subscription is basically, once you take a super subscription, you get access to all the upcoming and running MBA courses which are there on Grade Up app. All the material, everything, you don't have to purchase anything separate for these courses, right? And if you want to go for the full course, so currently the 5th batch is going on. For that, you get all these things which are written on the screen. You can see all of them, and it includes GD, PI, revision workshops. And currently, a huge discount is going on all these courses. You can find those out on the Grade Up app. So currently, I think it is around 40-50% off that we are running. Okay. So these are the three durations: 3 months, 12 months, 18 months. Okay. These are the three durations that we have, which could have taken. Kalash, we are not doing questions. Actually, these questions are limited to a time duration of 40-45 minutes. We don't do more than that. So I thought that if the concepts are covered a bit early, I'll take up the questions. Otherwise, the way I've shown you them, you just take a screenshot of those, try by yourself. You get any doubt, we can always discuss those in the next class. Don't worry about that. Okay. So this is our fantastic team who would be teaching you. All these people are extremely experienced and you can see their scores on your screen, right? So have very good scores as well. So that's all, guys. Thank you very much. Good night to all of you. We'll meet again tomorrow at 9 o'clock with the second session on this. I hope you liked it. So that's all from my side.